Hey guys, welcome back to Real Estate on Record. Me and Mike Gaddy, we're here talking about some information on
Inconsistencies and being a consistent realtor with all the trends. We just talked
professional.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Do you want to hit it off?
We just did hit it off.
Do you
All right,
want to?
inconsistency. So, Steve, you're a numbers guy, data guy.
Yeah.
Do you think it's vital, the key fundamental piece to being a good realtor,
Yes.
knowing the data, doing the trends, and being consistent in it every single day?
No, for sure. You have to know what you're doing. You, I mean,
Talk to me.
but Mike knows what we talk about the same thing.
But you guys
We
are
got-
conversing
I like
with
talking
each
to you
other.
because we're like trying to like
Okay,
bring you on
yeah,
board
go.
into what our thoughts are
Alright,
because me and
go.
Mike have this we think the same.
All right.
So ultimately, yeah, you got to know the data. There's no question, but you can't get lost in it either. And I got to be honest, like even for me, the way what I project in the market and whatever I do, it's not a sexy way to do business. To be honest, there's if you want to make a lot of money, you just basically be happy-go-lucky every day, and then just don't mention the data, and you just get people what they want, and without educating them, and you're gonna make a lot more money than me. I got to be honest. If someone like top producing agents in in our industry, a lot of them you can ask them what's happening in the market. They don't know what's happening. They just look at it like they just go like they're buying and selling. There's no question about it. We know a lot of agents like this, but you ask them about like a forecast or where we're at. It's never really going to be anything of substance. It'll be just to make you buy or sell, right? In that market, which is great. I mean, they make a lot of money. But for me, if you know what's going on, you're going to mention it. So it actually clearly it depends what kind of buy or sell you want. Some people want to be just lit up all the time and just whatever, feel good like they're at a casino all the time, like
Now,
pulling
this is
slots.
the mindset of a seasoned guy. What about you, Mike? You just came into the real estate game.
Well,
How
I've been here
important
for
is
5 years.
consistency?
Not yesterday.
I mean, it's 5 years, but you've been in this house.
13.
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 5 years, yeah, you got your feet wet.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
how important is it to stay very consistent in this craft that you're in?
You have to. You have to stay upbeat. Like now, everything's video, right? Like if I didn't want to transition to video or like TikTok, whatever it is, I'd be out. I think in 4 or 5 years. Like I think
You're
if
gonna
you're
get behind.
behind, yeah, you're gonna be behind. Now going to the stats, like Steve said, basically, the guys that are lighting it up in front of you every day, they're probably it's sexier. Let's be honest, right?
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
for us, we're more like these are the stats we're trying to help guide people in the right direction, and having some sort of foresight to see that is like you put a plan together, right? And now you're creating a roadmap and why you're going left instead of right. Well, some people want to know those answers. Other people are just like, yeah, whatever, I'll buy, sell, whatever you want. So that's kind of our tactic.
Okay, so being on camera for both of you guys, how do you feel being in front of the camera?
So I mean, you gotta understand me as my personality. I'm an introvert by nature. Like if you see me in a big room, I'll light it up for an hour and I'll disappear. Like that's my goal, right? Like I'd like to be in small groups, to be honest. Like more of an introvert. I'm like and also like I'd rather be rich and anonymous. So for this, obviously I know how important this is in order to kind of like you got to stay current with the market. We know that
Gotta be
videos.
relevant.
Yeah, it can be relevant, and people want to know information. People are on their phones. If like you're not going to send out a postcard and think you're going to get activity from buyers and sellers because it's mail. Nobody does that anymore. You still do it. We do it for listings, but it's just to kind of throw one out there kind of thing. But ultimately, we know people are on their phones all day. We're addicted to it. I am too. So ultimately, if you're looking for information, I always go to my phone. Even now, like you need something for your vehicle or whatever it is, as a wax or a detail. Like I go on Instagram, I'm looking for
It's fine,
detailers
yeah.
nearby. It's almost like everything now. So I think that relates to us too. Like I'm looking how, and again, I'm an elder millennial, so I grew up half analog and half digital, so I understand both worlds. But I understand how powerful digital is and has become, and I can't be negligent to think that you can't be doing all this like video, like these podcasts and stuff like this. If this was me, rewind this like my height of like cold calling and door knocking and my real estate coaching with Mike Ferry, I'd be burning in the seat right now because I'd be like, oh my God, I got to make contacts. I got to call like another 20 people. I got to make contacts. I got to set an appointment, this whole thing. But now this is what we're doing now is providing information for people to kind of give them an idea of who we are and who they're dealing with, and then ultimately they can call us and we can do the same business, let's just say, rather than me physically having to call them, in which we still do door knock and stuff like that. But ultimately, yeah, this is a whole different level, and it's only getting more, right?
Yeah, I think we're shifting. I think the guys that aren't doing this eventually are gonna have a lot harder time. Not that they're gonna be totally out, but they're gonna have a harder time for
Was
sure.
it difficult for you, Mike? Because I know
Yeah, no, I don't love the video, but it's not about me. It's about showing.
it's about the content, right?
What's about the content, and it's also showing the client and people out there giving them the facts and helping them make decisions and showing what we provide and how we can help them do that, right? So, do I love it? No, I don't love it, but at the end of the day, I'm like
It's a
Steve.
necessity, right?
It's something that has to be done.
Look at this. Mike goes door knocking in Sonoma Heights, which is adjacent to our office there in Kleinberg. You went door knocking. What did the lady say?
The one that yelled at me. What do you mean?
What happened?
Oh, sorry, that one. Sorry, there's so many doors. No, she recognized me because of Steve. Like she's like, oh, I follow you guys, and like she kind of gave like Steve a big like cue.
Yeah.
Like,
What did she say? Like,
I don't remember the exact detail. I just remember texting you saying you're a rock star out here because people were actually following and listening to what you said.
so I know what he was what you said. You told me you're like, so she recognized you. She goes, she goes not to my own. She goes by.
Yeah.
And again, this is because of the videos of even I've been doing on Instagram for
a while
since 16, right? And it's like, I like how he's so true.
That's right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So my message is no bullshit. Like you can tell, like you talk to me, you talk to me on or off camera. Like you know me well now. Like we've been dealing together for the last 6 months or something. You shut off the camera. It's the same guy, right? There's no. I'm not trying to light it up. It is what it is. But going back to like the prospecting, she got that message. That lady that Mike door knocked, and it's some random. You know what I'm saying? So what's more powerful, like that, like doing this, or like sending out a like a whatever, a just listed postcard, right?
Yeah, and you also do your daily market updates.
The weekly, yeah.
It's not weekly though, is it? You
I do it
something
weekly,
daily.
yeah.
What do you do every day? You do something every day.
No, it's Mondays with Steve. So it'd be every Monday. I just kind of give out like a weekend review.
Okay, and what benefit do you think people get from that?
So it kind of keeps them up to date because no one's really talking about numbers like how many listings. Like this is important. Supply and demand is how you kind of relate to any business, right? How you can make hedging. So if you're gonna go on to how many listings are on the market and how much is selling, you can kind of know what the current of the market, like if it was flowing like a river, is it flowing really strong or is it retreating? Because you'll see inventory going high and then sales coming down. You know your market's in trouble. But ultimately, like now we're at this morning 10,100 units, which is the highest we've been in 23 and probably since of for quite a while now. Like the inventory is starting to pile up. Not pile up, but it's starting to come up there with 900 sales. Nice ebb and flow market. So 100 more units came on the market from a week prior, but still about 900 to 1,000 selling per week. So I can see that as a gauge to kind of know what the market's in. But when we see that going 15, 16, 17,000, 18,000, and it's only like 1,100 unit sales per week, then we know that we're going to be in a flow market rather than ebb and flow, right?
So you guys have a very good data-driven mentality. There's one thing I used to talk to another real estate agent with, and he said there's about 30,000 realtors.
More.
We're like 70 now.
But I'm just
Yeah,
going to give you
yeah.
a number. Out of those, 1% does more than 10 listings, gets 10 sold listings per year. And that's facts. I have to get the facts.
I think it's 80-20 always, right? It's that rule by that Italian
10 or
mathematician that I forgot his name.
10 or more. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot
Yeah.
of realtors that do 0.
Yeah.
And then there's, let's say, 10% that do 1 to 3. But that 1% only does 10 or more. That is insane. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why do you think that they're failing when you guys are succeeding?
I think ultimately, like getting back to like our background again, there's a lot of high producing agents. I'm not
In the grand scheme of things,
yeah.
no. In the grand scheme of things.
I'm saying people that I know and stuff like that. But it's if you got to treat it like a job, right? You got a job. You have a responsibility. This is not you're gonna just fuck off for like 3 months. Like you gotta basically whatever you're doing today is coming tomorrow. You're planting your seeds. So it's a matter of keeping your pipe. I remember, when I have mental breakdowns earlier in my career, you'd have this throttle on, cold call, door knock, and then ultimately, you would break down mentally. You don't have a team behind you, and now you have like blank 2 months that you haven't or 1 month, let's just say, you haven't really called, texted, communicating with anybody to sell real estate, and you have like blank periods. That 1 month that you didn't do anything could maybe affect 2 months in the future. So it's a consistent like daily tasks. Thankfully, I had an assistant early on. Like Elisa's been with me, I think 7-8 years now. So I can't remember everything. Mike can attest to me not remembering anything. So
Crucial to the whole plan.
Oh yeah.
by far,
Oh yeah.
Lisa's the heart of my assistant. Elisa is the heart of what I do, and it's not just in real estate. You know, if you see the stuff that she's got to do for me, you don't even know. Like, you know, like it's the development section. It's like she's got to do so many things. Like she's so multifaceted as forget about real estate. Like she's obviously handling my sub branch brokerage now, but it's like even with the E2 investment visa, all that stuff we're doing in the States, the attorneys, like she's multifaceted. Like you know, like even firearms. Like she registers my firearms, you know, yearly. Like I hunt and stuff.
You can
But
never do what you do.
never,
Your
never.
best ability if you have to deal with
No,
all of this other
no, and I think as I'm getting older, you start to understand that better because it's like you always want to have. I think a lot of people get distracted was in making maximum profit. If it's $100, I want to make 95% of it. It's better just to make $60 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, make a fraction of that, but have a multiple sources going out, and just keep fueling everything because it's impossible. But also for yourself, because what happens is once you get taken out of the equation, like say someone like myself before Mike and Elisa, it's like I'm done. At least now, like you know, obviously we have venture into the States now and stuff like that, but. You know, I deal with the Canadian business every day. I do exactly the same thing I would do if I was in Toronto. Instead of being in Clymer, I've been in Florida. So it's all Canadian business in the morning. But now we got Mike's here, boots on the ground. Because obviously, you can see all our intro videos. It's Mikey now. So, but that's, for me, this is maturity in business, I think, ultimately. And to keep growing it here in Canada and also in the U.S. And it's just, you know, like I think now I got to hire someone there. Like we have 2 agents working for us in Florida now, and I got to hire a personal assistant because a lot of the stuff that I got to do there, it's too much because you have ideas and you got to implement them. You don't have all the time in a day to implement everything. You don't. It's impossible. It's almost.
If you delegate it all yourself,
it'll get done. If you delegate it out.
Yeah, if you delegate,
yes.
If you don't delegate, everything will be stagnant.
Oh, it's done. You get strangled, right?
You won't even have the time or mental capacity to think of those ideas to move forward and grow.
And it's a drowning effect. You'll feel like you're drowning because it's like, oh, I didn't do this. So if you get to my office in Florida now, it's like, you know, even here, it's like, and I'm a little bit old school, but it's a notepad. As we're doing our team meetings in the morning, me, Mike, and Elisa, it's like making notes and things that I got to get done. So then by the time I leave, it's like, okay, this is done, as I'm knocking them off. And that's the whole point of it, to kind of, you know, succeed in any business. But I think important now that we have a structure in place where it's, we can't lose. Because Mike's really good at what he does. I got to be honest. I've been in this industry for 13 years, but I don't. You got to remember, I'm a people watcher. I can hear you breathing from this distance. I can feel people. No, I'm telling you, like when I talk to somebody, I extract everything out of you. You know what I'm saying? If it's a client, if it's a person, I extract it. And to be honest, Mikey, when we were flirting in the beginning, he was wanting to come on board. It just, you got to be careful too, because some people come, they take all your info and they're off, right? And so it's one of those deals. But it's, you can tell this guy is in it to win it, and he's very honest. He's got a huge amount of integrity going forward, and he's a damn hard worker. Guy snowplowed a driveway to do an open house on Saturday. Like, again, that's not our responsibility as realtors, but again, he felt it's responsibility because look at the guy, right? So the bidding war is on Tuesday. Oh, again, we don't do open houses normally. It doesn't make sense. But we did it for this one because if you're holding back offers, not every agent's going to have opportunity to come and show this property. So it's like now getting as many people in there as possible. So we'll just keep the door open, have potential buyers coming in that are already represented, but have them go through the house. So if they go back to their agent, say, hey, I want to do a deal. We want to buy this house. We saw it. So we can stir more. Bidding more offers on the night for our clients. It's only for our clients that we spend that time there because we're not there to do it for our business. We're not looking to get leads from an open house. But Mike snowplowed the driveways. Like, I don't know. Like, that's crazy.
If we didn't do that, we had 10 showings and 8 people came through the open house. So those 18 groups that wouldn't have seen the house.
So
13 and 8, so 21.
Oh, sorry, 21, yeah.
Yeah.
So because he pumped up your your chest a little. This is how we're going to close out this episode. Because of your work ethic and how passionate you are to succeed long term, how long term are you thinking? Because I know Steve is saying there's a lot of realtors that they'll take information and then bolt, but you don't have that mindset.
No.
How far ahead are you looking when you study this craft and you really make it perfect?
I'm thinking like 20 years, but I have also like
You have
short-term plan goals too, right? So like I said, talking off air, like everything's for the kids and setting up the kids, right? But going back to the short term, like, yeah, we have our 5-year plan to do what we're doing here and also expand into the Florida and the States,
Is that
right?
something
So
that you want to do?
100%. Yeah, like I don't know how I didn't meet Steve earlier. It's crazy.
That's what I've
But
been saying. Well, I meant it's fucking forever.
But no, I'm just saying, like, we're like on the same, like, he's on a different level, but we're on the same wavelength with a lot of things. Like, development is, I've done this for the last 10 years to try and build a home, and now the numbers don't make sense.
They don't make sense.
No, I spent 10 years trying to get the money to go build, and now I have a little bit to go build, but it doesn't, what am I gonna do it for free? 100,000? Like, what am I doing? Putting a sign in front of the house to say Mike Gaddy built this house? Like, and put it on it. It doesn't make
Put on
sense.
Instagram. Look at this house I built.
Yeah.
Fuck, we're not making $1, but look.
Yeah, you know what I
Look at it.
mean? Like, no, honestly, that's what it is, right? So yeah, long term, like we're in it to win it, like we said, like through the development and the sales, but we're on the same page, especially on the development side. So
And that's what's important. Like, we're on the same page for the future. And it's like, we don't look like we sell real estate. We're business people, businessmen, let's call it, right? So ultimately, Mike's gonna have opportunity. Like, I want to develop in Florida and stuff like that. Or even if I still have a building lot here, like ultimately, if the market turns back here and I can see profit we'll do it here. Whatever makes money. People think, I don't understand people's mentalities where it's either you're like, and it's not related to politics, but just like either going to make a hard left or a hard right. Like, I don't understand that concept. You got to do what's best at the time. It doesn't matter what the concept is. Like, so I think ultimately, even with building, if Florida degrades and you can't build there and Toronto's looking good, then you do it in Toronto. But currently, right now, it looks a lot more better than here currently. And again, that market's saturated. It's not perfect either, but there's opportunity there to buy cheap land, get it developed quite at a low expense, and make a profit. Is the profits as large as Toronto? No, but it does not matter. It's what you invested and what's your return on investment. If you're making $500,000 here, but it's a 5% return on investment, how much money do you have to put into that project to make that 5 points? If I'm making 100 G's there, but it's a 20% return on investment, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. And
So
there's less risk.
And less risk. And you can multiply that. So my goal obviously here is if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. So we're going to do the E2 investment visa, bang, 5 years. In 5 years, I want to so it's a 5-year contract basically with the U.S. And then ultimately at that point, I have 5 years to prove to go for a green card. EB5, it turns into that point. EB5 has to have $1 million investment and 10 employees. But that's a beautiful goal. If I can build, let's say, even just if every property gets you 100K, let's call it. Like, so 10 properties, that's $1 million. So now I have a goal. Let's say I got to build 10 houses in 5 years and then employ 10 people. But I can, now we have 4 pillars of real estate in Florida. Now I can divide the 10 people between 3 per company, because if you're doing property management, you need at least a handyman, someone to control the flow of things. So let's say a secretary for that. The real estate company, admin staffs, maybe two admin staffs, 1 secretary. There's 3 there. Like I'm saying, you can get this done, and then that's a green card. And then we can start, obviously there's a better setting. Mm-hmm. And then 10-year would be citizenship. Even if I don't spend the rest of my life in the States, but I'm going to do it right to the end. I don't really care. Like, you can't do things slowly. Hey guys, thanks for watching Real Estate on Record, me and Mike. Just to give you an idea, next week we're going to be talking more a little bit off of real estate, but is still involved with real estate, talking about being mindful, having gratuity, running a great practice, being authentic, having integrity. These are going to be our next episode coming up next month.
All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Ciao.